Have you ever paused to ponder, is a white wedding biblical, and does it hold more weight than an African traditional marriage? A question that sparks curiosity and invites a discourse that delves deeper than the surface. On one side of the debate, proponents argue that the white wedding, also known as a church wedding, aligns more closely with Christian principles. They point to passages in the Bible that discuss the sanctity of marriage and the church's role in blessing this union. They suggest that a white wedding, performed in the hallowed halls of a church and officiated by a minister, embodies these biblical teachings. The ceremonial acts, such as exchanging of vows and rings, are seen as public declarations of commitment and love, symbolizing the lifelong covenant between the couple and God. The advocates for white weddings argue that these ceremonies offer a spiritual dimension that traditional African marriages may lack. But then, there's the other side of the coin. Detractors argue that the concept of a white wedding is a relatively modern invention, heavily influenced by Western culture rather than biblical teachings. They make a compelling case that the Bible does not explicitly endorse any specific form of marriage ceremony. Moreover, they argue that African traditional marriages, with their emphasis on the joining of two families and communities, rather than just two individuals, are more in line with the communal spirit of biblical times. These marriages, rich in culture and tradition, are seen as a celebration of love, unity, and heritage. Critics of the white wedding suggest that the focus on individual love and commitment could detract from the broader communal and familial aspects that are central to African traditional marriages. To summarize, the debate boils down to two key points. Firstly, advocates for white weddings believe that these ceremonies, with their church setting and religious officiation, embody biblical teachings about marriage. They argue that the symbolic acts performed during these ceremonies create a spiritual bond between the couple and God. On the other hand, critics argue that white weddings are more a product of Western culture than biblical teachings. They contend that African traditional marriages, with their emphasis on community and heritage, align more closely with the communal spirit of biblical times. In the end, it becomes a question of interpretation and personal belief. Whether one chooses a white wedding or an African traditional marriage, may it be a celebration of love, unity, and commitment.